Okay, welcome back everybody to Coffee and Art in the Morning. I'm Dee Dee, and hopefully we're going to stay connected this time. We've had to restart a couple of times, but we're going to color in the Magical Delight by Klara Markova. And I have colored a little bit in this book already. I showed that a minute ago. We'll go back to here. So here's some of the stuff that I've colored in this book previously. So I think we're going to go ahead and color this page, this little mouse. And I'll stay kind of zoomed out for a little bit while I kind of get the base colors on here. And then when I go to shade, I'll probably zoom in. So now I have to decide, do I want to use my Neo colors, which I'm thinking I want to use my Neo color, water-soluble crayons, and then shade with pencil. That's what I'm thinking. So, yeah. And you can use anything as a base, watered down acrylic. And these pages are pretty thick, but you always want to test. I always say that. You always want to test your pages to see what mediums work and what might not work for you, because when you use anything with water and a water brush, which, yeah, I got water in here, you have to be careful with how much water you put on, because you don't want to pill your paper and you don't want to go through the paper. So you just have to be careful when you do water. But I've even used water on the thinnest books, like Bennett Klein's are probably the thinnest ones that I know of, and I use water on those. Granted, those thin pages will buckle a little bit, but at the same time, you know, I don't mind that. These pages are thicker and I probably won't have that issue. So anyway, I think we might do that. I'll use my, let me bring my tray over here so you can see what I'm talking about when I say my Neo Color 2. These are Neo Color 2 water soluble. You have to get the Neo Color 2. The Neo Color 1 crayons are just wax-based crayons. They're not water soluble. So you make sure you get the water soluble Neo Color 2. And I've had this set for probably at least 5 years. And you have to get them on sale, watch for prices, and, you know, Dick Blick. I think that's where I got this set about 5 years ago for my birthday. And so they last, look, you can barely tell I've used them. You know, they just last forever. And what it is, it's concentrated watercolor in a crayon form. And so yeah, so I'm going to set this over here next to me and pick some colors. And if y'all don't know what colors to pick, in this book I'm kind of using some brighter colors like these here. But, you know, I don't know. I might not this time. But I'm just kind of feeling that this book needs to have kind of bright colors. It just reminds me of a children's illustration book and bright colors. So that's kind of how I'm rolling with this one. No, Jean, I don't want a desktop container. Jean built her some little box containers for her Neo colors. Because they're not cheap and they are breakable, I keep them in the tin. Jean, I always tease her about the house she built for hers. Anyway, so I'll probably just kind of keep this here. So I think I think I'll have my mouse be gray. The wood, you know, will be a brown. The grapes, of course, will be shades. I think I'll have them shades of purple. You could have green ones. You could have different colors of grapes. I think I'll go with purple because I like it. You're not broken one, Jean. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to kind of stay zoomed out while I get the overall color going, and then when I go to shade with color pencil, I'll zoom in. All right, so I think I'll start with the gray mouse. Now, with the Neo colors, you can do it a couple different ways. I'm going to start with a lighter gray, and you can do a couple different things. You can color on very lightly. Color on the section you want to. I think I'll have pink on the inside of the ears too. If you want it more concentrated, like this, you might want to find some of the areas that you're going to have darker and color that in. And then with your water brush, you just move it around. Okay? But my preferred way, I have two preferred ways actually. Let me get a little tray. I like to take, one of these little porcelain type, little watercolor palettes, and I like to kind of scribble it out, because then I'm picking up a nice concentrated amount and coloring. So you see how dark that is where I picked it up off the tray. You can also just pick it up right off the crayon and color it that way. So whatever works, you kind of get a feel for different areas that might work with something different. But again, you don't want to over wet your paper, because this is not watercolor paper, right? This is not watercolor paper. So if it starts to get too wet, then either let it dry or take your heat gun to it and dry it before you put another layer, because it's the water, not the paint. It's the water that is going through your paper. So you have to kind of dry, make sure it's not too oversaturated. So you don't go through. Okay? So, but you do get more, rather than just going straight onto the piece, I like to just put it out on a tray, because you get more that way. So if y'all have any questions, put it on in caps if you're watching the recording on YouTube. Thanks for watching over there. And I'm talking to a live chat, mostly awake people. I think I want his little tail pink too. So if you want a little less pigment, you can just kind of pull it off the crayon. If you want more, you can either color on the piece or on a tray and pick it up from there. And you can also mix these colors too. With 84, I rarely have to mix, but you can mix the colors just like watercolor. Yeah, cool grays look more blue and the warmer grays look more green. This one happens to be called just gray. This is just gray. Okay, so again, I just like doing it this way because I feel like I can control how much I'm using. And I'm not squeezing any water out. If you want to squeeze any water out, do it over here. Like, let me drop some out here. See, squeeze your water out here to get it less concentrated. But don't squeeze it out on your piece, Let's see. Looks like his little neck is there. Can y'all see okay? Is it light, too dark, too light? Hopefully it's, because I'm not zooming in yet until I get to the shading part. That way you can see the overall piece. Okay, I'm just going to color a little bit further down on his face, but kind of keeping it light, because again, I'm going to go in here with color pencil to do more shading. A little around his eyes here. If y'all have any questions, just put them in caps. Alright, so let me get a little bit more down here for his feet. So it's been a while since we colored in this book. Well, to try to rotate around all the different color books. Sometimes it takes a while to get back to them. Alright, so that's wet. Now I'm going to go ahead and dry it so I can add a little bit more shading there. But again, it's wet, so wet that you want to dry in between. so now I'm going to go back here with my little tray. Add just a little bit more shadow right around his head here and his ears. Welcome back, Grace. All right, now I want to take some pink, and I'll just leave my colors kind of handy so that if I need them again. And to clean off my brush in between, I just use a Kleenex and just kind of squeeze out the water and clean off the brush. All right. Now I think I'm going to get a pretty pink. Let's see, which one do I want? Do I want a pinker one or a, yeah, I think I'll go with the pinker one. I think this is just called pink. Yeah, just pink. Okay, and again, I might need to clean off a little spot here. This is watercolor from another project. All right, so I'm going to just put some pink down. We got disconnected for a little bit, Grace, so it may not have been you. All right. Pink in the inside of his ears. And it's just like watercolor, you got to layer. If you want it darker and darker and darker, you have to just add layers. So, but you got to let it dry because it's not watercolor paper. You have to let it dry. Do his little tail here. All right, so I'm going to dry that so I can add a little bit darker pink. But it's so wet that you don't want to get too much water. And again, if you're careful, you can, add it direct to, but it's very concentrated. So if you don't want the whole ear, say, really dark pink, just be very sparing with how much you put down on the paper, because it goes a long way. Because like I said, I've had this set for probably 5 years, and you can barely tell I've used it. Okay. All right, so now let's see. Let's get a nice pretty purple for the grapes. Let's see, which color do I like? This one? Do I want this one? That one's too grayed out. I think I'm going to go with this one. Or maybe this one. Let's see. Yeah, they're kind of similar, so I'll go with this one. All right. Wait, let me see how dark this one is. Yeah, let's go with this kind of mid purple, just to get it a wash of color on the grapes. Again, I'll squeeze out a little water in here. And I'm going to just color all the grapes right now, one solid purple. And then I'll do the shading with a little bit more crayon and color pencil, so that each grape will be shaded individually. It's a cute book. But just don't keep going over the same area while it's wet, because that's going to pill your paper. I know I keep repeating that, but I can't say it enough. I really can't. I don't want someone emailing me saying, oh my gosh, I went through the book. The paper pilled up and I got a hole in my page. Don't email me. It is a cute mouse, isn't it, Abby? All right. Just going to get all the washes down first, then we'll go back and shade. Okay? And this color is violet. Seems like I'm just using your basic colors today. All right, I'll clean my brush off. Now I think I'll go ahead. I think these, I don't know if these are like, they just kind of remind me of pomegranate type things. I don't know that I want them, because of the purple of the grapes, I might want these a red violet color. Let's test that out. This color is black writing on. It's just called purple, but it's really kind of a magenta color. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit on each one. Let's see how far I can get with this, just so I can start crack-a-lacking here. Yeah, it's a bundle of grapes. But again, guys, your color book, you can color anything you want. It can be anything you want. So just because I color it as grapes, you can color them green, you can color them any, you know, make it whatever you want. I think these just remind me of pomegranate pods things, but I don't know what they are, but it doesn't really matter to me. I want this color. So that's the color I'm rolling with. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and just kind of roll with that. If you want it a little bit more, but just remember, it's best to let it dry or hit it with the heat gun and then go back and add your next layer. That's right, you're the boss of your color book. Alrighty. Oops. Just get the base coat on here. And see how I did it dark, like toward the end where the little leaves are? Alright, so now let me dry that. And you can shade the whole thing in the watercolor if you want. I just love my pencils, so I just like doing all mixed media. Like, I'm loving this right here. I almost want to pick this up. This is from my watercolors and put some of the, I think I'm going to just because. I'm going to pick up a little bit of this watercolor, and because it's like the color that I'm using, darker. So let's just add a little bit of that. It's almost the exact same color. It's from the watercolor from another project. Use your watercolors. You don't have to have neocolors. Use watercolors. Watercolor pencils. Just plain old watercolors. Just sitting here, so we might as well use it. And I'll zoom in again, guys, when we get to more detail. Alright, so there's a little bit extra color. Quickly. If you have any questions, put them in caps. Okay, I love olive green leaves and things, but I want to also keep it kind of like a brighter olive because I just like this book to be brighter. But I think, let's do a little test here, which, this green or do I like this green? I kind of like that other one. Okay, so this color is, again, black writing on dark paper. What is that? Hang on, gotta get a You can't see it. Black writing on green paper. Moss green. Okay, so it's moss green. So I'm going to put out some moss green. I know, isn't it cute, Colleen? All right, so I'm going to squeeze out a little water here. I'm going to have to go fill my brush up pretty soon. All right, so I'm going to just get all the these large leaves just flattened in. Just a solid color for it to start. Do the shading in a little bit. And of course you can have different greens. We might have a couple different greens here. So there's green, top of the grapes. This is on the, I think I'll go with the little darker olive color. Let's see. Make the tree leaves just a little darker. This one is olive. This was called olive. So I'm going to put some olive down here too, just to have a little bit different color green on the trees themselves, but still be in the olive family. And you may not be able to see a difference right now on camera because they're both going to look like olive green. But when I go to shade, we can shade with different colors of green. Right now I'm just trying to get a base coat on everything. Okay, put out a little more. So, how many of y'all have this book? I know I've talked to y'all, some of y'all have this book, but I don't remember who. Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and use that olive color also for the tiny leaves, not the pomegranate ones, but the other leaves here in the trees. So I'm just going to take a minute. Maybe I should go ahead and zoom in a little. It's a little hard to see, but I kind of want y'all to see the overall picture for a few minutes. And again, you can take it right off the crayon. Whatever's easiest for you. Melody has a book. Have you colored in it? That's the next question, Melody. Blue Moonlight says, not yet, but I will. Melody, have you colored in it? Did you know that was the next question I was going to ask? So I'm just going to get all the little leaves here base coated in. Use whatever you feel like your favorite mediums are. Markers, watercolors. Now if you use alcohol-based markers, I would, it's going to go through. So you really can't use alcohol-based markers and let you make a copy or something and color it. But, it's going to go through. You colored, so Erin's colored in hers. Melody said no. Melody. Just saying, girl. Grace says she's glad she got it, but she don't want to color and mess up. Well, what I tell you guys, if you're afraid of any book, make you a practice sheet. Copy one out on a practice paper so that you can, pick your colors and get, do some tests on it. Then you're not afraid to mess it up if it's a practice sheet. And then when you feel like, okay, now I know what colors, I got this technique down, then you can go color in the book and not be a fearing. Yeah, I've colored in all mine too, Erin. At least one page, at least one picture. And you know, when y'all send me a book, I usually color in it right away. I usually color a page in it like right away. I don't think I have any books that I haven't colored something in. Oh, and when you do this, I don't recommend doing this over your book because you can splatter it. You know, it's best to, if you're going to like pull paint off, like go over to the side because you can splatter it. All right, that's a different leaf. Okay, I think I'll just go ahead and do all the leaves this color and then do the little pomegranate thingies a different green. Okay, some little greens on these bells. And again, you can color multiple shades and different greens if you want. You have used your Neo color in it. You have or haven't used your Neo color in it, Connie? All right, now I think I'm going to get a darker green. Let's get, what color is this? No, let's see. This is a nice, let's see, that might be too contrasty. That's too bright. I don't want that bright. I almost want a blue-green. What I think I'll do is, let me squeeze out some water here. I might mix a blue and a green. Let's see, this is indigo. So let's put some indigo in that green. Some indigo and olive together and mix that. Might be too purple. It's making it too, it's just going to be for the, no, I'm not loving that. Let's see. Maybe I'll just go really light. No, I think I'm going to go with indigo. I think I'm going to have indigo leaves on this pomegranate thing. And you almost could bring in a little of that blue. I almost want them to be kind of a, there we go, a blue leaf. So we're going to have some blue leaves on here. I like that. I started to, and then I ran the printer and made a copy. I have used them not in the book though. So I just want to get a base on everything and then we'll zoom in for details. For shading. And again, you can shade in with more layers of watercolor or pencil or both. And this is a Pentel water brush. I get people asking me, see how the barrel is shaped like this? And they come in different, this is the fine point one. I would recommend if you're going to use it in a color book to have a fine point one. So you get in those little details. And you don't have to use a water brush. You can just use plain old water and a watercolor brush. But it is easy to use a water brush, especially in a color book. And to me, it is anyway. All right, let's go over here. And then I got another leaf right there. Clean this off. You like the indigo? Thanks, Joycey. It's another leaf right here. I think I'll do their little stems. The little stems are olive green here. There's only a couple of them showing, so. Okay. All right, let's move on to brown. So I love ochres and siennas and those kind of colors. Let's see, what color do I want for the... okay, I can't read it. Brown paper, black writing. This one is burnt sienna, and then I think this is raw sienna, kind of an ochre color. I'm going to use these two colors. All right, so I'm going to start with a layer of the raw sienna, like an ochre color, kind of a light color of wood. So I'm going to start with that, and I'm just going to go ahead, because there's such large spaces, I'm just going to go ahead and put it right on. Now I'm not bearing down. You don't need that much pigment. You just really don't. You just need a little bit, and it's better to do a little at first and go back later. So this is going to be the base color, and then I'm going to put some darker in with the, what do I call this? What do they call it? Burnt sienna? Yeah, burnt sienna. So let me just do this big tree here first. It's a large area, so it's just easy to color a base like this. So let's go ahead and do that. Again, now, especially in the large areas like this, you want to be careful not to over wet. Let's just get that let's just wet that pigment down and keep it moving, because big areas especially, it's easy to oversaturate your paper. And be careful on the edges. You should have something behind it so you don't, get paint underneath. So just get this whole area. Okay, now just let that sit a minute while I go do the rest of the trees up here. Then I'll hit it with the heat gun a little bit, but it'll be pretty dry by the time I get done with all this. So again, just putting a nice little layer up here. And this one too. It's the whole tree. Hey, Painterly Paint. Anybody else popping in? I'm just coloring in the Magical Delight. This is the cover if y'all missed it. Klara Markova. And I think on the other one, I don't know if it had little seeds flying in the air, or if we just put those in. Little things in the air. If it was little seed pods, or if it was, did we add those ourselves? I'll have to go back and look. So we'll get the base done here, and I'll zoom in. I still got water in here. Just moving the pigment around. Nice way to fill a big space, or fill, just fill the bases. It's so much quicker this way than just trying to color the whole thing with color pencil. Whether you use watercolors, neocolors, whatever, to get a base on here, it's so much quicker to do this than all pencil. Okay, now let me hit it with the heat gun. All right, now I'm going to take the darker brown and I'm going to do this stem here. Just going to put a little bit there and I'll wet that out. And then I'm going to find some of the darker areas on the tree, like the shadow under the feet, and just to, you know, don't overdo it because it's going to go a long way. So just a tiny bit is going to spread far. So I'm just putting a little bit wherever there's a shadow, like right under the feet and under the little mouths, like around the curves here. Under that leaf. So can you see how I just put a little bit there like that? So now let me go ahead and do this stem. I might need a little bit more on the stem here. So has anybody got any fun plans for the weekend? Alright, so now let's go ahead and now I'm going to wet the dark brown that's on top of the light brown. Just kind of move it around. And again, we'll be going back in here with some pencil, and or you can just add more layers of your watercolor, whichever way you like. But just be careful not to over wet. If it looks like you're getting it too wet, stop and dry it. Or let it dry. Move to another area while that section's drying. And I'm not squeezing any water out on the paper here. If you need more water, squeeze it out on your tray and then pick it up from there. Can y'all see? Just for the birthday party for your granddaughter. Oh, Pat fun! She's turning 10. The water brush doesn't push out water. You cleaned it and filled it, but it goes dry. I don't know. I've never had a problem with them. Don't know. See, I'm doing all this. I'm not squeezing at all. Right here. It's kind of like the dryness of the paper is like pulls the water out. But if you need more, like watering down something, you then squeeze it out on the tray. But I'm not squeezing any out. You got your Jane Davenport watercolors, the mermaid markers and the pen, Connie? Or are you talking about the little tray, the little D's? These? I know, they're awesome. I think that might be what some of this is right here. So I don't know if the Jane watercolors. Alright, so there we go. Now we got that bottom part done. Now let's go up to these two branches, and again I'm going to go in here and just add a little bit of dark sienna. And if you don't feel comfortable and you can't tell how much you're putting out with the coloring on the piece, then do it on the tray. So, because it is kind of hard to kind of tell sometimes how much you're putting out on the pigment you're putting out. Okay, so now I'm going to go in here and... What set did you get, Connie? Indigo, you got yours too? Yeah. They're very vibrant. Her colors are they're very concentrated and vibrant. And we could be using that on this. I just like to kind of mix it up. You know, sometimes use watercolor, sometimes use Neocolor, sometimes just pencil, just different, you know. But I don't ever like limit myself. Like, I only can use pencil on this. I mean, I've tried that a couple times. I know in my Mythmorphia, Imagimorphia, in those books, I am doing everything with a wash of acrylic paint as a base, just because it's quick. And there's so much to those books. And those have base coats of acrylic paint. And then pencil on top. And I haven't worked in those in a while either. Yeah, I'm sure they're cheaper on Amazon, Connie. But at the same time, I got mine at Michael's with 50% off coupons. So, you know, I mean, I think they're, I don't know, how much were they? $29? So say $30. If you have a 50% off coupon, they're $15. And, you know, there's no shipping or anything. So, you know, $15 isn't bad for it. All right, let's go here to this one. We all look for our bargains. Nothing wrong with that. They're on the Jane Mermaid, but not buying. They have too many products. The mermaid markers, I really just use them as almost like watercolor. Squeeze out some and then use my water brush because they're so concentrated as well that it's almost just like, you know, squeeze some out and use it as watercolor. I did get out a little bit of smudge out here. I didn't pay attention. I was watching chat, so I did get a little bit of smudgy out here. Let's see if I can just wash it off with some clear water. There we go. Right here too. Okay. So, gotta pay attention. Not that I care if it goes out of lines a little bit, but I try to keep it neat. Alright, now let's dry, and I think then, except for these big leaves and maybe a little on the grapes, well, I think we'll move into pencil, especially on tiny little areas like this. I'm not even sure what that's supposed to be. Does anybody know? Is that supposed to be hanging on there? Mushroom? It looks, maybe they're that's what they are. They're mushroom stalks with a little bit of mushroom. Tiny bit of mushroom. So what color do I want that? Do I want them to have the red cap mushrooms? Like, seems like we use that a lot. Maybe I'll just do them a nice golden color, like a yellow ochre, because y'all know I love me some yellow ochre. So I think I'm going to color them yellow ochre, and then just maybe the tips of them here, maybe a red or something. So let's just get the base coats, or the bases of the little mushrooms. Yellow ochre. And again, I try to keep a minimum amount of colors, unless it's a big page of just like flowers all over and you want all different kinds of flowers or something. I try to keep it a few colors. It just, I don't know, I just like the way it all ties together that way. Yeah, slices of mushroom. Okay, and then these little bells and a key. I think I might go with a gray on those. And then the little butterfly, let's do him maybe part ochre and then part the blue color. Let's bring a little bit of the blue into that butterfly. Just picking some up off the tray. The little indigo blue. And then a gray that we used on the mouse, I'll use as a base coat or a base for the key. And for the little bells, we'll have them be a silver color, a pewter. They'll be pewter color. And then maybe the little inside, the little bell, the thing that makes the bell ring, I'll have that be yellow ochre. Just kind of tie those colors together. And the little chain, I might have yellow ochre, like that. Okay, so I think we have everything base coated. Oh, I got to do the rope. I think I'll do the rope gray too. Having a contrast from the tree. And then maybe have the little key. There's a little bit of a key, like a thread. I'll do that in the magenta, or the red violet color. We'll do the little rope. And I know it's hard to see because we're zoomed out. We're going to zoom in a minute. Okay, I did miss a couple of leaves here. All right. So now I think we're going to go ahead and zoom in. Well, let me dry it first. Make sure everything's dry so I'm not smearing anything with my sleeve. So there you can see a base coat. It took us about 45 minutes to base. Not that the time matters. I'm just saying it didn't take that long. If you had tried to done all this in pencil as a base coat of pencil, it would have taken a lot longer. All right, so let's go ahead and let me zoom in. Refocus and zoom in. Okay, let's get the lighting here. It's a little bright. I want the colors to show, but I don't want it to be too... That looks pretty good. Let's make sure we're focused. See what that looks like. That looks pretty good. We'll go with that for now. What was the watercolor palette name? These are the Jane Davenport. This one, oh, it got dark again. This is a Jane Davenport Brights, and this is the Jane Davenport Neutrals. Well, it's brightened back up again with the white, so we'll roll with it. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what we can do. All right, so again, I'm going to go back with the green, the olive green, and let's see, do I want that one or, yeah, okay, I'll go ahead and go with this. I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit more where the darkest bits are going to be, and I'm just going to go ahead and add another layer of the neo color, or you can use your watercolor, whatever kind you're using. Just another darker layer. Like that. And I don't remember if I used the same green or if we used a different one, but I'll just go with this one. Just get another layer. Hope y'all can see that. Sure. Someone's telling a dog story. Okay, let me dry that. All right, back to the purple now. The purple that we used on the grapes. And let's see if I want to just pull it off of here, if I want to put it on the tray. So I'm going to start. Again, I don't recommend doing this. Like, don't be flicking your crayons with the water brush, because I've done it before. I flicked colors out onto the page. So it's just really, I should just get in the habit of doing that. Just come over here to the side and kind of flick it. You know, I'm just trying to stay things in camera, but that's not a good thing to flick your colors right on top of your piece. And this is just a second layer. I mean, there's some areas that are going to be real dark. You'll need another layer or pencil. You know, go in there with pencil or another layer here. Eileen, we came up with a soundboard for you. Earlier today I showed the new Flow drawing book. And of course, you know, Janet ran right out to buy it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if she's going to get it or not. But where's my phone? So we thought that anytime you show us something new, Eileen's our enabler elf. So anytime you want to show us something new, or you show us something new, Eileen, so this is just like this. I mean, I want to, this is probably going to be really the main color here. I just want a little bit of highlight there, which I can still do with pencil. But, yeah, Eileen. Janet went to buy it. You did not. Janet goes, no, I didn't. All right, so I think that's good for a base there. I think I might put a little bit of purple in the butterfly, just a little bit. Oh, and then that's the magenta color here on the magenta color on this little cord here. All right. I think that's pretty good as far as the base goes. You know, I think we can go into pencils now. So let me clean my little brush. Where's my Kleenex here? Hey, Dot. Did I miss? All right, let me go ahead and dry this. Move my watercolor stuff. get on to the little mouse here. Let's start with him. Let me go ahead and, let's see, I just need to move this big. Let me move my tray off the table so I have room to bring my color pencils in. So now I'm going to bring in my most used pencils here. It gets real dark when but everything looks right here, even though my hands look real dark, and like when I bring the pencils in, how dark it is. But the white from my paper that's the right color on the piece. So I'm going to just go with that, so y'all can see the colors here the best. All right, so I think I'm going to get some pink for his little ears. Let's start with that. Maybe a magenta color. I'm going to just pick out some colors here and see what I need. I think that's the same color. Is that the same color? Yeah, it is. I need a lavender. I'll tell you the colors I pick, and then we'll roll with that. And I need a black cherry. It's dark brown. I'll probably need that too. Where's my black cherry? There it is. And then a couple of grays. This one, a darker one. I want some cool grays. That's a warm gray. I want my cool grays. Hang on, guys, I'm digging. I have to get it out of my pack. Hang on, let me dig one out here. I want a cool gray. This one, I think. Yeah. And I might need a lighter one, too. Might need a cool gray, a lighter one. This one probably. And then I'm looking at all my colors that I might need. I think I got my magenta and the black cherry. Could probably work for both things. Oh, my indigo. I need an indigo and probably a little bit of a light blue. Do I want that one or this one? That one, I think. Yeah. I'm going to tell you all the colors I dig out here as soon as I dig them out. I usually have my indigos marked with a, that's the color I want there. I don't think in a white. Let me dig, here it is. I usually mark my indigos with a piece of blue tape because the black and the indigo look so much alike you can't really tell. And there's been times where I thought I've picked up black and I've picked up indigo. So I try to remember to put a piece of tape on it. All right, and then I need a sienna and an ochre. Trying to get all the colors out that I'm going to need so we can not be digging. All right. Now I need an olive. That's apple, but that'll be good with the olive. Yeah. It's green ochre. Okay, I think those would work. All right, now a brown, and I think I got a dark brown, and then I want this is different. Let's see. Okay. So here, I'll tell you the colors while I sharpen them. Okay, so I'm going to sharpen my colors and I'll tell you what they are as I go. So I'm going to start with white. I'm just going to sharpen them over here. Isn't it cute? And I'm just using my little comb wood cutter. Okay. And there is some, I'm cleaning off the white because there was some color in there and it got on the white. You always want to make sure, especially your light colors like white, your light gray, that if there's colors smudge off from your pencil sharpener, you want to make sure that it doesn't get on there. Okay, so I got white, and these are all going to be cool grays at different percentages. And again, I can't see it. Where's my gold on gray? This is cool gray 20%. This will be cool gray 50% and cool gray 70%. So that one's sharpened. Let me sharpen this one. So those are the grays for the mouse. Then for the trees and the bark and the branches, I have a dark brown. This is just dark brown. And I'm just going to go ahead and sharpen anything that I think might need sharpening. And then other browns that I have here are burnt ochre, siennas and ochres. I don't really, when I'm using them, I don't pick them by names. Here's sienna brown. I pick them by the color. So there's just 3 shades of brown there. For the leaves, I have apple green, and then green ochre, which is like an olive green. So there's those 2 greens. Then I have indigo, and I have black. I might like his eyes, and I say this all the time, guys, on your color book pages where there's like the black in here, the black on the nose, the black in the eyes. It's never really it's not real black. So I always go back over the black and the highlights. So, and I'll do that probably with a Posca pen, the highlights. But anyway, black for the eyes inside there. And then for the grapes and the, yeah, so I got black cherry. Dahlia purple. This is just a lavender, I think. Lilac. Pink for the ears. And processed red. It's kind of the magenta color, which I'll be using that probably a little bit in the ears. And then on these flowers here, processed red, it's like a magenta. And then I have yellow ochre, or wait, let's see. Technically it's goldenrod, and then also this slate gray for a little bit. Maybe if I might need a little green gray in the bells or a couple other places. So those are the colors I'm using. I'm going to put them right here to the side. Just wanted y'all to know what colors I was using, but I'm not going to tell you as I'm going. I'm not, can't do that. All right. Let's get the pencil shavings off. So I'm going to start with the mouse, and let's just go ahead and start with the inside of his eyes. So, and this may not show up much for you, but I can really tell a difference when I go over the printed black from the printing of the color book to the black of the pencil. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to put just a little bit of shadow with the, I'll go ahead and go with, oh no, I need the light blue, and I didn't pull a light blue. Let's go ahead and pull like a slate gray, or a slate blue rather. Yeah, blue slate. Let me sharpen that. That's my favorite color to use as an eyeshadow color. Not eyeshadow, but the shadows in the pupils. Just a little bit of shadow in there. And then again, for the highlights, I'll just use a Posca Sharpie gel pen, and I just you know, get my highlights a little brighter. And then also maybe just a tiny bit of blue on the black. And then that eye, it looks like, I don't know if I did it or if it was just not, where's my gel pen? I need the white of the eye. The white of the eye needs to be a little cleaner. Now let that dry, and then I'll put that blue back. So yeah. Let me just dry it with the heat gun because I'll smear it with my hand. I'm roaming around the page. Because you can smear that. All right, so now I'm going to go back and add that a little bit of shadow there. Okay. Same for the nose. There might be a little blue highlight on the nose. And then, whoops, where's my black? And then get that nose nice and black as well. And then maybe just a little extra highlight on the nose. We're still staying with the tour. All right, so now for the ears and the tail, I'm going to go ahead and get my pink and the processed red. Now I'm going to use this very, very lightly. I just want a little darker pink, and I'm going to blend it out, but I want just a little bit more bright pink in the ear. Because remember, I'm trying to, let me show you again the back page that we colored before. This page, see how bright the colors are? See how bright I colored everything on this? I want to keep it kind of like this throughout the book. These nice bright colors. Here's this other door here. And I added my own light sources coming out there. And so I want those nice bright colors. So I'm going to add this little bit of extra pink in the ears just to make it pop. See the difference? Thanks, CB. And if y'all missed it, Lulu, if y'all know the story of Lulu and our Pierre, it's Labor Day. Okay, so there's just a little extra pink and a little bit of extra pink on the tail. Maybe just right around the curve of it there. And now I'm going to take, well, let's make this just a little bit more too. And now I'm going to take the pink and kind of blend that out. I'm going right over the magenta, or the processed red. Going right over it so it all kind of blends. But I want to keep some light up here too. Her due date is Labor Day, yep. If y'all don't know who we're talking about, let me get Lulu. Here's Lulu. Lulu is with child. There's a baby in there. Thanks. Thank you, CB, for making her little jumper. It will be Labor Day. Okay, so back to the pink over the processed red. And then maybe just a little bit of white in the lightest area just to kind of feather that all together. because I want the insides of the ears to be, you can kind of see, some light areas too. Kind of feather that in. And the tail, I'm going to go in here with the pink. And then maybe just a little bit of white to blend it together. So you see, we're just going right on top of the watercolor or the Neocolor water-soluble crayons. All right, now let's go ahead and do, I think I'll do these leaves and stem, and then I'll do the mouse. All right, so let's go ahead and get the apple green and the green ochre. I'm going to start with the green ochre. And I'm trying to stay back on the pencil so that it's not interfering with, y'all seeing it. So I'm just going to kind of go down the stem here. But so much of the work is done for you when you do a wash of watercolor on the piece, so much of it's just done for you. And lots of light layers, especially if you're doing skin, faces and things. You got to have lots of light layers. So like that. This one's in the front, so it's going to be the lightest. Now I'm going to take the apple green, which is going to be a little bit brighter green than what we've used, but I'm just going to put a little bit of that. Again, very light layers, so it doesn't just overwhelm the rest of the olive colors. And I don't even know if you can see much difference there, but I can. I'm hoping I got the camera adjusted well enough for the colors. That. Very light, lightly blending. Blend, blend, blend. So yeah, my air conditioner guy, if y'all weren't here earlier, air conditioner guy came and serviced our air. It needed Freon, so that I won't be buying any color books this month. Yep. But you gotta have air in the South. Okay, so something like that. And see how I left a little bit of light? It might be a little too much bright. I don't want it too bright. Knock it back just the slightest bit. Like that. What is good #1 watercolor palette? Oh, first, it's hard for me to say that because I'm not a watercolorist. I like, these Jane Davenport ones are good. But you almost have to have both sets because the neutrals are in here and the brights are in here. I guess I would probably recommend this. Something like the Gansai Tambi Kuretake set. Now it's all in Japanese, but this is a good set, I think. Now, Jean could probably tell you some nice professional, like Daniel Smith and all that. But I just don't watercolor do watercolor paintings. Really, the only time I use watercolor is in my mixed media and some color booking. So I'm not investing in a lot of expensive watercolors because I just don't, it's just not my main medium, right? Pencils are my favorite thing to use, but I use them all in conjunction with each other. All right, so now let me do the little stem here. So I'm going to get a sienna and a dark brown, and I'm just going to do the little stem. Oh wait, that's black. Is that black cherry? That's black cherry. Oh well. Black cherry in lieu of dark brown. And I did kind of go out of line. Where's my little electric thing here? Let's just erase a little something. And color pencils never really erase 100%, so you gotta just roll with that. Okay, now this is the sienna. And I'm going to blend that out. This is just a little grape stem. Just a little bit like that. It's nothing, not a whole lot there. Okay, now I'm going to do the mouse in the fur. And I'm going to do them furry. I'm going to add a little bit of fur. Although you don't need to do that, but I'm going to. Okay, so I'm going to take my Cool Gray 70% to start with. And I'm going to start flicking in the shadowed hairs here. So I'm just going to flick, and I'll probably put some, there's no whiskers on him, I'll probably put my own whiskers. So I'm just going to start flicking the shadows, in the shadows. Little bitty flicks of hair. Start there first. A little bit under the eyes. Here, we'll shadow that a little. Trying to keep it light. And remember, we're going on top of watercolor here too. Okay, let's keep flicking. But you don't put it so thick that you can't see the undercolor. Just do a little bit of fur. I just want to have a little bit of fur lines. Maybe a little bit more shadow on the edge. Can y'all see the little flicks? And you don't have to do it solid. You can kind of skip around and just give essence of fur. Essence of fur. Have a few darker, but most of them are pretty light touch. A couple coming off the face there to the ears. And you know, make them as fuzzy or as fluffy as you want. Just have a few little random hairs. Makes it look like, you know, your eye fills in. See? A few over on his ear. But things like whiskers and that, you want to wait till everything behind it is done, because you don't want to have to try to color around whiskers or little hairs. I might put a little flick of a couple little white hairs in his ear too. Okay, let's do a little bit on his body here. I hear my mailman going through. And kind of try to roll the fur with the direction of the body. Like the fur's coming this way and around and around and around. So it looks like that's the direction. At least just in case you guys didn't know. Are you talking about income tax or something? I mean, state tax in Florida? Florida's one of the few that don't, isn't it? Okay, same thing over here. I have a few flicks around there. I'm just adding a little bit. Maybe there's a little more shadow under that leaf right there. Right along under the arm here. I have just a few little hairs. I might put a few white ones on there too, just to give it some accent. I did kind of go out of line there. I'll just have to kind of roll that around. Made his arm a little big. Yeah, we have that too. We have a no sales tax during certain times of the school year, before school starts. Yeah. Georgia has that. Tax-free weekend. Yeah, that's what it's called. Thank you, Eileen. Yeah, we have that too. I don't know when it is. I bought my composition books and paid full tax. Okay, let's do the little feet here. Let's do the little feet. And I'll probably put some little toenails on him. Again, you should probably not do that till after you do the tree. But you know me, I have to show you, okay, look, you can do this, but do it in the order I say. Because otherwise you're going to be trying to color a tree trunk around little toenails. All right, so let me go ahead and get with the dark brown here. Dark brown. Let's go ahead and do a little shading under the feet, just so I can do the toenails. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to get, let's go back with black for a minute, because I want to do, I think I've colored enough in the areas to do the whiskers. So I'm going to have a couple little whiskers. Well, maybe I should go with the dark gray up here. I want a few little whiskers kind of coming off the ears here. Uh-oh, I froze. Hang on, guys. Oh, there it goes. I want a few little whiskers coming out behind the ears, and then here I might have a couple black ones, but I'm going to put in a couple white ones too. So you can do both or neither. But all right, so now I'm going to do his whiskers. Oh, it's not happening in Georgia this year? Really, Happy Ray? I didn't know that. All right, so here we go. We're going to flick out just a few. Don't get too, it won't look real if you get them too wild. And you can go and highlight those too if you want with some white Posca pen. So let's see what we can do here. Or gel pen. All right, so let's go ahead and go in the ears here. See if I can get the pen to flare out here. Sometimes going over the pencil, you might have to have a Posca or a Sharpie because it doesn't like going over pencil. The wax, it doesn't like going over wax. So I keep kind of cleaning off, you know, clean off the wax of the, clean off the ear wax. Because I want a few little hairs like this. Yeah, I might have to get in there with a Posca or Sharpie paint. Sharpie poster paint, what is it called? Water-based paint. Because it'll go over the top of pencil, wax pencil. So I'll just add a few in there. So whichever one you can get to work. Alright, so now I'm going to try to, let's see if this is thin enough. I'm going to go right on top of the whisker because it crosses over some dark areas and I want those whiskers to show. So I'm kind of going right on top of the black lines I already put. Any place that it crosses over a body or over here it's going across his tail. And then I think I'll go in there with black and just have a couple extra whisker marks. I'm going to add those myself. A couple extra dots for the whiskers. Something like that. Ah, thanks, Happy Ray. All right. Go back over. Like that. Something like that, guys. Maybe there'll be a couple of white ones here too. All right, now I'm going to put a couple. They'll show up like right above his eyebrow. Something like that. I think that's good. I might have gone a little crazy on those. I might not need to go in there with the pink and kind of knock some of those back just a little. Might have got them a little hairy. I don't know. Got them a little furry there. Let's see. Let's knock those back a little too. Alright, so let's shade a little bit more around the ears here. Along his head. A little bit more around the eyes. Alright, now let's go down to his toenails. And again, I probably shouldn't be putting these on because I still have to do the grapes. But I'm going to show you, how I'm going to do them. I'm just going to put little white nail claws so they stand out. And the same thing for his little toenails. That's why you want to do the tree first. Little toenails. You might have to take 2 coats depending on what you're going over. Okay, now let's go to the grapes. So again, I got black cherry, dahlia purple, and the lilac, and probably white. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the white so I don't lose the brightest highlight. So I'm just going to kind of highlight each one a little bit because I don't want to lose that. little shine that I left. I missed what y'all said y'all might be doing this weekend, other than school supply shopping. Now I'm going to go in with the darkest, the black cherry, and I'm going to get all my shadows. Let me sharpen that really well, though. So I'm going to find all my shadows next. And I really don't have a method for what I do first or second or third. I think it just depends on what I'm coloring. But you want to remember, these are round. So try to keep your shading round. Can y'all see that? Gonna go see Dark Tower, Sarah? See, I would probably I'd probably go to the theater a lot more. And I know everybody loves the loudness of it. I just can't do it. I mean, it literally feels like the volume, the surround sound is reverberating through my brain. And that's no joke. I just can't do this. I mean, I'd love to see more movies, but I just wait till they come out and I can either buy them or watch them on whatever. But, I mean, I'll make the exception with Star Trek. A couple of things, but I don't like it's just so loud. And you're talking to somebody that grew up going to a concert every weekend in the 70s. Probably every weekend. And you know how loud those concerts are. So it's just, I don't know what it is. It's the new, I guess, surround sounds or whatever. It's just too much for me. You know, wear your earbuds, put your hands over your head. It's just not, why should you have to do that to go to the movies? And most people probably just say, oh, it's just loud. It's just the way it is. Oh, okay. I can go to a concert, but I can't go to a movie theater. So you can just see I'm just kind of picking out the very darkest bits and kind of just feathering out. Then we'll go in there with the other colors. But like in the shadow area, I mean the behind the grapes area, that's where it's going to be real dark right back in there. So I'm coloring in those real dark. Organizing Grandma's house as she now lives. Oh, that's nice of you, Allie. Yeah, tax-free weekends are good for parents getting their kids back in school, for sure. Did y'all, some of y'all were here earlier when I showed the video, and I'm not sure if one of y'all that saw it on YouTube, I saw it on Facebook, and I shared it on my Facebook wall. Suzanne and, what's their names? I can't play it here for you, but because I'm recording this to go on YouTube. But go look on YouTube and look them up, or go on my Facebook and see. But it's talking about school supplies. Let's see. Let me go to my wall here. Whoa, Susanna. WHOA, and it's Susanna, and I think it's her sister. It might be her best friend. No, I think it's, anyway, the two of them. They're Southern girls, and there was a couple of videos that were so hilarious. One was talking about going back to school and those big binders. And y'all know that's what my idea collecting is in, those big binders. It's hilarious. And the other one, another one was with her dropping off her kindergartner. He's only 5 years old. Well, I can't take it. How's he gonna go? How's he gonna find the bathroom? And he's gonna have to sit for 7 hours, all and all this stuff, right? And it was just moaning and groaning about, oh my gosh, my poor little 5-year-old. He's still halfway attached to the umbilical. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I need to turn around and go back. I think I need to go get him back. I don't think he's ready for kindergarten. And it goes on and on and on. And the title of it's the first day of kindergarten or something like that. So she just goes on and on and on. And then and then it says, every year after that. And they play the song Freedom in the background. She gets a phone call. Manny? Petty? Vegas! So it's like after that first initial getting your kid in school, it's like every year after that. That's hilarious. Those girls are funny. Yes. And it's nice to have that tax-free weekend when you have to buy, school clothes. Oh, anyway, yeah. Go look up Whoa Susanna, WHOA. And they're 2 Southern girls. And oh my gosh, they're hilarious. Talking about she has one where it talks about wearing people. She goes, what is it about people wearing their pajamas to Walmart? And she calls it the Walmarts. Oh my gosh, I love those girls. So you can see I'm just doing the darkest, I'm using the black cherry for the darkest purples. So you can see the difference from here to here. Sarah, Sarah, go watch those girls. They'll make you feel better. I'm telling you. We know how to laugh at ourselves in the South. Just ask Jeff Foxworthy. Let's see, this little shadow on there. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're okay. Whoa, hang on. And they have 2 different things that they post on Facebook. If you, Sarah, I don't know if I guess you're not on Facebook. Whoa, Susanna, WHOA. Whoa, Susanna. One of the girls posted. I think it was Janet that posted a link to they have a YouTube channel, so you can watch them on. You can watch them. It's Whoa, Susanna. But again, I'm not sure what their YouTube channel name is. I mean, I just don't want to take the time to find it right this second. And they're either 2. I think they're 2 sisters, but it could be 2 best friends. Y'all both need Pack or Die. You need to go watch it too. Seriously, guys, they're hilarious. But the school supply one, that one just cracked me up. Talking about the big 4-inch binders. What does a well, I think her daughter's 4th grade. What does a 4th grader need? And they have Southern accents. They're Southern ladies. So they're talking with their Southern accents. What does a 4th grader need a 4-inch binder for? She working on her thesis? She working on a thesis? What? We had to go to the Walmarts? You just have to go watch them. Oh my gosh. Yes, please do, Sarah. They have all kinds of things. Funny things. Alright. Kind of getting there here. Yeah, after we stop the recording, because I can't put a video, someone else's video up on a recording, you know, on my YouTube. But I can show it to y'all after we're not recording. That was the other thing he talked about, pack or die. But you can't just have the pockets. You have to have the pronged pockets. Oh. Okay, so there we go. There's the darkest purple. All right, now I'm going to go in here with, which one do I want to use? I guess I'll go just with the lilac, because that may be enough. I just want to kind of blend. I think that might be enough, just to go in here with the lilac. Remember, I already put the white down in the highlights. Now I can just kind of blend out some little circular. So do all the blending. So I'm going back over all the black cherry and a little bit into the white and blend all those little grapes. Just make them nice and smooth. See the difference between, say, this one and that one? So we'll blend this one out. And then if you get too much lilac on top of the black cherry and you need to go back and darken up the black cherry, then you can do that too. I'm just kind of trying to get it all nice and blended because they're, you know, they're very shiny and soft. We could even add a little bit of a white Sharpie or gel pen highlight if we want to give it an extra little shine. And someone said it looked like it could just be a giant blackberry, and it could be, you know, a close-up of a blackberry. But you can do it like whatever you want, because you're the boss of your color book. So it could be a giant blackberry, it could be a grape cluster, whatever you want it to be, you know. They're berries. They're berries or grapes, you know, just little fruit. So you can see the difference from this side to this side. Can someone open links? Yeah, if Eileen or Janet are here, they can open links for you. Or you can just tell us the name of the video. Is it just Whoa Susanna? Okay, so Dale Kwan, she spins Juanita. It's a rubus adoratus flowering raspberry. And Juanita would know. She not only spins, she's an awesome gardener. Thank you. It's a type of raspberry. That Juanita just said. Yes, I know, Cheshire Cat. Exactly. The one, the kindergarten one. Yeah, my car is older than my son. He has no business going to school by himself. But they have Southern accents, guys. And you know, real Southern accents, not the fake kind. And so they're just really great. Okay, so there we go. There's our little raspberry, whatever kind that Juanita called it. She put out the Latin name. Alright, so now though, if we want, let's just see what happens if we add just a little highlight. I don't know if I'm going to like it, but I'm going to add a little highlight and just kind of smudge it. Give it a little bit more brightness to it. You know, just a little shimmer. But I don't want it like a perfect little dot. Kind of making it a little shine, a little smudge. And it may be too much, I don't know. Don't add it to yours if you think it is. Okay. And again, if you want, like you could go back in here with the your dark cherry, what is it called? Black cherry pencil, or I'm even going to go in there with black in the very, very darkest little corners. I want a nice dark area behind them, because that'll really make them stand out. Oh my gosh, they're all hilarious. There's so many. There's another one. It's not by these girls, but there's another one. There's all kinds of fun southern ones. And again, we can make fun of ourselves down here. There's one where, and we're big on manners, you know, and I know some people up north think that, what's wrong with you? Why are you making them say yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no ma'am? But there was one where the mom, it's not Suzanne, it's another one. And the kids are sitting there eating, and the mom asks a question, and the little boy goes, yes. And all of a sudden, the room starts going dark, lightning bolts start flashing around the room. The mom turns and looks at him, and lightning bolts are going off. And she turns around and looks at him and goes, yes, what? Like she turned all evil. And then the little boy goes, yes, ma'am. And all of a sudden the room lightens back up. She goes, thank you. And they look at each other, two kids look at each other like, we won't be forgetting that again. There's just a whole bunch of them like that. Yeah, and people talk to each other on the street and in the store. Oh, we don't just talk to each other in the store. We will go up to a total stranger and give them complete advice on what they're purchasing. Oh, honey, you're going to buy that? You don't want to buy that. Why are you buying that? You need this. Anyway, yeah, so Denise, I put that on my Facebook, and, you know, because Denise is buying school supplies and stuff. And so I had to leave a message on her message machine or on her voicemail on her phone. And because she didn't answer, because I wanted her to see that video like right now. I wanted her to see that video right now. And she didn't answer the phone, so I had to leave a message on it. I said, hey, Denise, this is your mama. We need to go up to Walmart's. We need to go up to the Walmart's and get some of those big 4-inch binders and some of those 3-prong pocket folders. I did it better, though. And she messaged me back immediately and said, oh my gosh! She probably played the message in front of her friends. Oh, they probably go, oh, you're bless her heart. Oh, there's a video on that too. What it really means when the Southern, when we say bless your heart. Oh, there's a meaning behind each one. Different meanings for each bless your heart. Okay, so anyway, guys. So let's get right under that leaf a little. Okay, so I think I'm done with the raspberry, or whatever it was Juanita said it was. Let's see if y'all can see a little better here. Okay, we need to get crack-a-lackin'. All right, let's go to these leaves down here. Again, I'm going to go back to the two greens. My apple green. Well, actually, I had another one, too. Well, we'll just go with these. We'll do the greens with this. So, I'm going to go in here with the green ochre. I know, Packer dye. It's not necessarily a compliment. Depends on what it is. Again, I think Suzanne and them might have, or some... I don't know. No, it wasn't them that did the bless your heart one. They might have one too. But there's multiple ones with bless your heart. It can mean multiple things. It's like I saw something else on I don't know if it was a meme or what it was. But anyway, it showed, said something about a kid, when the kids fix your computer. And how did you do that? How did you fix it? And they said something about it being the code. What code? And what was it? ID 10T. So if you have a computer issue and your kids fix it, they fixed it under the ID 10T. Y'all write it down. You'll see the code. Write that down. ID 10T. I'll wait till one of y'all get back to me in the chat. Hey, Taddy, how's it going? Tatiana, I finally got a chance to go look at your YouTube channel. She does book reviews and book chats on her YouTube. Musical Tatiana. Yeah, Janet got it. ID 10T. I'm not going to say, because then everybody that's listening can go write it down. I'm sure that's an old joke. I'm sure it's old, but I thought, oh my gosh, that's so cute. But for real, go look up Suzanne. Whoa, Suzanne. And it's either her sister or best friend. And they are hilarious. Alrighty, so a little darker green down there. And now I'm going to take the apple green and just kind of lightly blend out. I could probably put some mint green in here too, but I'll just stick with these because that's what I said I was going to use. So just kind of blend it out, feather it out. But it's so much quicker with a base coat of watercolor or Neocolor or a wash of acrylic paint, whatever you put on as a base. It's so much quicker to color. Blend, blend, blend. Alright, so if you're coloring in your color, I'm going to get up the chat pack in a minute. I'm having so much fun with you guys. Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's a fun group. And if you're watching the recording over on YouTube, thanks for watching over there. And, oh, guys, we have so many people that have joined into the Society of Idea Collectors. Tons of people. I think we're probably up to about 100. I haven't counted them exactly, but I have a stack of them. I put them on little cards. It's just easier for me to flip through the cards to see, did I already write that person's name down? Especially if they're new people and I don't really know who they are, yet. So I like to, find them if I need to. Anyway, if you're watching over on YouTube, thanks for watching. This is a live show on Ustream. Try to make it over here sometime. I know it's, people that work during the day can't come over, but that's why I put them up on YouTube. And Jean and Rach, Rach O1, I forget her number now. Anyway, they're the ones that said, Dee Dee, you need to put your Ustream videos up on YouTube. I don't know, because I've been streaming for 7 years and only been uploading to YouTube for about 3. And so it took them 4 years to get me to do it. So after 4 years, I started putting them up. Azure, I don't know. Did you? I'll write your name down just in case I did it. I think so. So anyway, they talked me into uploading my videos to YouTube. And so now we're almost at 15,000 subbies. I say we because we're all in this together as far as I'm concerned. Everybody here is on it, and we all chat, and it's like, it's not the same if you weren't here. So, yeah. I stream every Monday and Wednesday, Grace, at 9 a.m. Eastern, and the occasional Friday. Today happens to be one of those occasional Fridays. Same time, 9 a.m. Eastern, which is early for the West Coast, I want to try to get around to all the areas because I'm not going to probably finish this today. So I want y'all to see. So now you've seen how we done the leaves, how we did the mouse, how we did the berry. Now let's do a little bit over here on the tree and these flowers here. So we have the major pieces because all these leaves here, it's going to be the exact same thing. I'm going to do a little bit of shading in each leaf. And then I'm going to take the apple green and just kind of feather it out. So all these leaves will be done exactly the same way. Some might be a little darker than the others, but they're not layered up very much. I mean, they're not one behind the other. They're all pretty much standalone. So just like we did just that right here, they're all going to be kind of just like that. All those leaves. So I'm not going to take the time to do all of them, and we'll see how much time we have. But I want to be able to do a little of everything, And I do think I need the black. I need under his eyes here. I just need a little less line. That's the one thing I don't like about color books is the lines under the eyes. And I understand they have to do that so you can see the edge of the eye, but I don't like a line. So I try to get rid of that with shading. So I'm going to just shade a little bit more around the eye and then go back with the lighter gray and kind of blend that out. Just so it's not like a outline. There's other little areas too, like, you know, between the fingers, and there's just little areas like that that you want to try to maybe, you know, get rid of so that it just looks more real, less color book. But, you know, hey, it is a color book if that's the look you're going for. So just that little bit of extra oomph under the eye. Oh, thanks, Erin. I know it's early on the West Coast. All right, so let's go down here to this branch here because it's under here. You got things to shade. So let's do this. Well, you know what? Let's do these little pomegranate thingies, whatever. What are these, Juanita? What kind of flower pods are these? Are these little seed pods from space? Okay, so I'm going to get the magenta color and the black cherry. So I'm going to use these two. Here I use the black cherry and the lavender. Here I'm going to do the black cherry. I'm just going to flick out some black cherry for the darks. And then the magenta is the color I'm going to use for more shading. Oh, but let's also add, let's go ahead and do some white here so that you don't lose the white. I want a little bit of highlight here. Maybe a little on that one too. So I'm using the same color to shade this that I did this, but because I'm going to go over this one with magenta, well, I think it's processed red, I'm going to use a different main color here than here, but using the same shading color. Yeah, that's why I upload them to YouTube, Sarah, because I know everybody can't be, especially got little kids and stuff, you know, or if you work outside, you know, you can't be here. So just kind of carrying this color up and then blending it with some white. Look like odd radishes. Hey, Palm, I haven't seen you for a while either. Good to see you. No, I don't think they're radishes. Radishes grow in the ground. You have to pull those babies out. These are growing on a stem. So I'm not really sure what it is. But I'm giving them kind of like lines a little bit. And then these little, well, let's do this one up here. Let's do the 3 of them. I haven't seen Jean talk for a while. Jean got herself a new chair. I think she might be napping. Just saying. Oh, I don't know what they are, Packard. I have no idea. A couple girls are saying rose hips. 3 people said rose hips. And again, I'm coloring on things however I want to. All right, so now I'm going to use the slate gray. Well, you know what though? Before I do that, let's go ahead and put the white highlights because you can put white on top of your paint. But to try to go over your pencil with white and bring back white, it's hard to do that. So, you know, keep the white areas, and then I'm going to shade in here with the slate gray. Just a little. We just wanted some blue-gray leaves instead of green ones here. So, like that. Let's do this one up here. And I know I've shown y'all a million times. Test it yourself. Put some paint down. Acrylic paint is a good way to see it real dramatically. Let's put some black acrylic paint down, or black watercolor, or do both. And then also put down a coat of black color pencil and make them all as black as you can get them. Then take your white pencil and try to go over them and see the results. Very dramatic. Thanks, Jean. So you're awake. You just woke up. You dreamt about flower pods. Okay, I might get just a little bit of black right in the crevices of those, just to give it a nice dark contrast right where the two meet, like that. So maybe you can see the difference between, say, that one and this one. So there you go. Here's with color pencil, without color pencil. But because we started with this base, we're able to do this really quickly. All right, so let's go ahead and spend a few minutes doing the wood. Oh, well, let me go and do this seed pod thingy here. Okay, so I'm going to put a little white. And then go in here with the black cherry. Flick in some lines like. Then the processed red. Then blend it a little bit with the white again. Then the little gray leaves down here. And just a tiny bit of black right in the where the two meet there. I have to blend that out a little. Alright, so now I'm going to go in here with the dark brown. And do some shading with the dark brown. Like right along here where the mouse's little foot is. And again, this is why you want to do those little claws last, because otherwise you're going to have to pencil around them. Alright, so in here there's going to be some shading there, right under this leaf. And a lot of color books already have the shading specified. You know, they have, it's either grayscale or dark lines. You know, you can tell where the shading is if you're not sure or not familiar with shading. A lot of color books, that's one of the nice things about learning with color books, is the shading. You can try your color combinations and blending and all that with your color books. Just so many things that you can learn. Okay, so here I'm going to go kind of right under this branch here. Put a little shadow there under here. In between these leaves. And then you can just follow all the little lines, the wood grain. Just kind of follow the wood grain to get some dark in there. Nice sharp pencil is good. Right in this little crevice, this little bend. Finish this up and go get me something to eat. So can y'all see the difference from this to like over here? So here's with some of the little pods colored and the shading. And I'm going to do this leaf, this little branch here, a little lighter color. And then this So I'm just adding in like lots of the little, I'm just following the wood grain that's already there. Okay, let me sharpen again. Hey, Card Chick. Anybody else popping in? Thanks everybody for being here. Just kind of follow some of those lines. Let's get some shading here. I need to do the seed pod things here, or whatever they are. On this side. I haven't done these leaves or anything over here. Okay, let's go back over here because we're further along. All right, so I'm going to get my yellow ochre. And this, I just pushed too hard and broke the leg. This, it's broken. Hang on. I might have picked up an old one. Some of my older ones have, not real old, I mean like not way back old. But you know, when we had some breakage issues. All right, let's see if that's going to work. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to go in here and add just a little yellow ochre throughout the wood so that the wood is not just one flat color. I'm going to add a little bit of highlight in here too, and I'll show you all how to do that. It's the same thing with, you can do it with hair, you can do it with anything that you want highlights. I'll show you. So I'm just going to go through here and just kind of randomly put a little bit of yellow ochre, just so, like I said, so it's not just one flat brown. And you just kind of build up your layers. This is another way of practicing your colors. I'll just go ahead and go over here while I'm at it, even though these aren't done yet. But I want some yellow ochre over in here. Well, I think it's called goldenrod, but yeah, yellow ochre. Okay, so now let's just say you want to highlight a little bits of the wood. You can take your Sharpie poster, your Posca. I mean, you could probably do a little bit with your gel pen, but gel pens going over the top of wax pencils doesn't always work. Well, go sleep, Button. I'm recording. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to kind of highlight some of the areas with the white to make certain bits of the wood just really stand out. But now the trick is you got to let this dry or hit it with the heat gun. And this is the same thing I did with the whiskers or any little hair or anything like that, that you want to really have a highlight. You can do it in white, dry it, and then go back over it with pencil. Okay? Did you get that? So just kind of pick out bits of the wood. We did this, I think we did this technique when we did the werewolf in Mythomorphia. I need to pull that out and show y'all again. Although we did the trees more in red, but it's the same technique, just different colors. Okay, so I'm just going to find, you can kind of overdo it sometimes. I do, but okay. And I can do it right under here as well. So there's like little swirls, the little knot holes and all that. Okay. So what you do is now we're going to dry that. I'm going to dry this with a heat gun. And you can do this on anything. The white on top of your pencil, then you go back with your lightest color that you want it to be and knock it back so it's not white. It's going to be highlighted, but it's not going to be bright white, but it's still there. And I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera, but I'm just kind of going right over my white lines. And so they're still very bright, but it's not stark white. I'll pull the werewolf out here. Okay. Let me see if I can find a little comparison here now. Okay. So here it is with the white pencil, the white paint, and here it is after I've penciled over. I still missed a couple spots, see right there? But there's the difference from that to this. And see how that looks like wood? You're welcome, Button. Feel better. So you still have highlighted areas that really pop, but they're not white. Because your wood is, well, some woods might, birch, and some might have white. But for the most part, it's not going to be stark white highlighted wood. It's going to be just lighter, and this just keeps it nice and bright. Can you see that? You can always go back in there with your dark brown and kind of pick out some more of the little knot holes. But that just makes it look more like real wood. Don't y'all think? Let's thin this branch down just a little. So let me really quick pull out the Mythomorphia, and then I think this is all for today, guys. I think we covered enough. I didn't do the little butterfly or the little key or the leaves. But I think y'all can, But this is how all the leaves right here, those 3 leaves right there, all these leaves are going to be the same as that. And all the pods are going to look like this. And all the wood is going to look, see here's, well, there's a little, the wood will look like this. See, I still have to do this corner over here. But it's all, I think you get the whole big picture. So let me back out here. Let me get my, there we go. So you can kind of see now how it looks. And I'll take a work in progress picture for you. I might finish this today by myself. I just might finish it. So if I finish it, I'll post a finished picture for you. Because really there's not that much more. I can probably finish this in about an hour when I'm not chatting. And then here's the other one that we have finished in this book. Let me go here to this double page spread. Here. This is the one with the doors that you cut out and put the little tabs in. So we've finished this one. Okay. So real quick, let me show you in Mythomorphia where we did the werewolf here. So this, see, we did these trees in red, but it's the same technique. See with the white. See maybe over here. So this was the werewolf with the bloody footprints. and that was in Mythomorphia. We haven't really done a little bit. I mean, don't know that we've completed too much in this one. But let me show you how okay, we finished this one. Did this one. And working on a few. But let me show you one that's got a wash. Okay, she's done. Here. So here's how a wash in the background as a base. And then sometimes I like just a solid black. Let me get out my Imagimorphia and my Anamorphia. I'll show you a couple finished ones in here. This one's done. Uh-oh, hang on guys. There we go. This one's done with the black, flat black acrylic paint in the background. And then little stars. So y'all know I love my black backgrounds. Here's one we kind of worked on a little bit, the gorillas. This one's done. The owls. These angelfish. That one's done. What else do I have in here? Let's look at Imagimorphia. This one, here's a good example of with when you got paint on the background. So the background here is painted dark blue, and then I took a light blue and kind of did a glow around it. Well, the reason I could do that glow was because there's acrylic paint as a base. What else is done in here? This one is, we've partially done this one. Got the spider webs done and did that with glitter, with stickles. What else is in here? This one we're working on again. This has got some glow around it. Well, it's not really necessarily glow, but like they're cutting through the water. And so as they're cutting through the water, you kind of see the color change around them. Anyway, the reason that these pages are partially done is because I decided early on that I was going to do this book in stages. Here's another one, a good example of doing smoke. That's white pencil on top of gray paint. It is so that I would finish them. Finish the books, I mean. And I knew I wouldn't finish the books if I just I did page by page by page from start to finish. I can go back and work on different, it doesn't bother me to do that. A lot of people go, I have to finish the page before I can go on to another one. And I get that. But for me, these 3 books, I know that if I want to finish them from cover to cover, I'm going to have to work at them in stages. So Imagimorphia, Anamorphia, and Mythomorphia, I'm working on all 3 of these just at random. And just going in and coloring a little bit, and then eventually, like this, it gets done. So. Okay, so I'm going to head on out, guys. We've been here about 2.5 hours. I hope y'all enjoyed working on our little mouse. Again, I'm going to try to finish this up today, and I'll post a picture. You like working on them all at once too, Erin? Yeah. And try to finish this one back here. I don't remember if it had little, I think, yeah. So those little berries floating around, they were there. I couldn't remember if we put those little, like, pollen floating around, if that little pollen was floating around, and it was on the page. So there's no pollen floating around in this one. We could put it if we wanted to, but yeah. So anyway, all right guys, so I hope y'all enjoyed the little Friday extra stream, You're welcome, guys. And we'll try to get them up on YouTube today, along with the little video. I did do a video earlier doing a little flip through the Flow book of drawing. So, got a little video on that too. All right, guys, y'all have a good weekend, and I'll see you on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Ustream, YouTube. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. Colors. And if y'all don't know what colors to pick, in this book, I'm kind of using some brighter colors like these here. But, you know, I don't know. I might not this time. But I'm just kind of feeling that this book needs to have kind of bright colors. It just reminds me of a children's illustration book and bright colors. So that's kind of how I'm rolling with this one. No, Jean, I don't want a desktop container. Jean built her some little box containers for her Neo colors. Because they're not cheap and they are breakable, I keep them in the 10. Jean, I always tease her about the house she built for hers. Anyway, so I'll probably just kind of keep this here. So I think I think I'll have my mouse be gray. The wood, you know, will be a brown. The grapes, of course, will be shades. I think I'll have them shades of purple. You could have green ones. You could have different colors of grapes. I think I'll go with purple because I like it. You not broken one, Jean. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to kind of stay zoomed out while I get the overall color going, and then when I go to shade with color pencil, I'll zoom in. All right, so I think I'll start with the gray mouse. Now, with the Neo colors, you can do it a couple different ways. I'm going to start with a lighter gray, and you can do a couple different things. You can color on very lightly, color on the section you want to. I think I'll have pink on the inside of the ears too. If you want it more concentrated, like this, you might want to find some of the areas that you're going to have darker and color that in. And then with your water brush, you just move it around. Okay? But my preferred way, I have two preferred ways actually. Let me get a little tray. I like to take, one of these little porcelain type, little watercolor palettes, and I like to kind of scribble it out because then I'm picking up a nice concentrated amount and coloring. So you see how dark that is where I picked it up off the tray. You can also just pick it up right off the crayon and color it that way. So whatever works, you kind of get a feel for different areas that might work with something different. But again, you don't want to over wet your paper because this is not watercolor paper, right? This is not watercolor paper. So if it starts to get too wet, then either let it dry or take your heat gun to it and dry it before you put another layer. Because it's all the different color books. Sometimes it takes a while to get back to them. All right, so that's wet. Now I'm going to go ahead and dry it so I can add a little bit more shading there. But again, it's wet, so wet that you want to dry in between. Okay, so now I'm going to go back here with my little tray. Add just a little bit more shadow right around his head here and his ears. Welcome back, Grace. All right, now I want to take some pink, and I'll just leave my colors kind of handy so that if I need them again. And to clean off my brush in between, I just use a Kleenex and just kind of squeeze out the water and clean off the brush. All right. Now I think I'm going to get a pretty pink. Let's see, which one do I want? Do I want a pinker one or yeah, I think I'll go with the pinker one. I think this is just called pink. Yeah, just pink. Okay, and again, I might need to clean off a little spot here. This is watercolor from another project. All right, so I'm going to just put some pink down. We got disconnected for a little bit, Grace, so it may not have been you. All right. Pink in the inside of his ears. And it's just like watercolor, you got to layer. If you want it darker and darker and darker, you have to just add layers. So, but you got to let it dry because it's not watercolor paper. You have to let it dry. Do his little tail here. All right, so I'm going to dry that so I can add a little bit darker pink. But it's so wet that you don't want to get too much water. And again, if you're careful, you can, add it direct to, but it's very concentrated. So if you don't want the whole ear, say, really dark pink, just be very sparing with how much you put down on the paper, because it goes a long way. Because like I said, I've had this set for probably 5 years, and you can barely tell I've used it. Okay. All right, so now let's see. Let's get a nice pretty purple for the grapes. Let's see, which color do I like? This one? Do I want this one? That one's too grayed out. I think I'm going to go with this one. Or maybe this one. Let's see. Yeah, they're kind of similar, so I'll go with this one. All right. Wait, let me see how dark this one is. Yeah, let's go with this kind of mid purple, just to get it a wash of color on the grapes. Again, I'll squeeze out a little water in here. And I'm going to just color all the grapes right now, one solid purple. And then I'll do the shading with a little bit more crayon and color pencil, so that each grape will be shaded individually. It's a cute book. But just don't keep going over the same area while it's wet, because that's going to pill your paper. I know I keep repeating that, but I can't say it enough. I really can't. I don't want someone emailing me saying, "Oh my gosh, I went through the book. The paper pilled up and I got a hole in my page." Don't email me. It is a cute mouse, isn't it, Abby? All right. Just going to get all the washes down first, then we'll go back and shade. Okay? And this color is violet. Seems like I'm just using your basic colors today. All right, I'll clean my brush off. Now I think I'll go ahead. I think these, I don't know if these are like, they just kind of remind me of pomegranate type things. I don't know that I want them, because of the purple of the grapes, I might want these a red-violet color. Let's test that out. This color is black writing on. It's just called purple, but it's really kind of a magenta color. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit on each one. Let's see how far I can get with this, just so I can start crack-a-lacking here. Yeah, it's a bundle of grapes. But again, guys, your color book, you can color anything you want. It can be anything you want. So just because I color it as grapes, you can color them green, you can color them make it whatever you want. I think these just remind me of pomegranate pods things, but I don't know what they are, but it doesn't really matter to me. I want this color. So That's the color I'm rolling with. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and just kind of, the water, not the paint. It's the water that is going through your paper. So you have to kind of dry, make sure it's not too oversaturated. So you don't go through. Okay? So, but you do get more, rather than just going straight onto the piece, I like to just put it out on a tray because you get more that way. So if you all have any questions, put it in caps if you're watching the recording on YouTube. Thanks for watching over there. And I'm talking to a live chat, mostly awake people. I think I want his little tail pink too. So if you want a little less pigment, you can just kind of pull it off the crayon. If you want more, you can either color on the piece or on a tray and pick it up from there. And you can also mix these colors too. You know, with 84, I rarely have to mix, but you can mix the colors just like watercolor. Yeah, cool grays look more blue and the warmer grays look more green. This one happens to be called just gray. This is just gray. Okay, so again, I just like doing it this way because I feel like I can control how much I'm using. And I'm not squeezing any water out. If you want to squeeze any water out, do it over here. Like, let me drop some out here. See, squeeze your water out here to get it less concentrated. But don't squeeze it out on your piece, you know. Let's see. Looks like his little neck is there. Can y'all see okay? Is it light, too dark, too light? Hopefully it's, you know, because I'm not zooming in yet until I get to the shading part. That way you can see the overall piece. Okay, I'm just going to color a little bit further down on his face, but kind of keeping it light, because again, I'm going to go in here with color pencil to do more shading. A little around his eyes here. If y'all have any questions, just put them in caps. All right, so let me get a little bit more down here for his feet. So it's been a while since we colored in this book. Well, you know, to try to rotate around. Okay, welcome back everybody to Coffee and Art in the Morning. I'm Dee Dee, and hopefully we're going to stay connected this time. We've had to restart a couple of times, but we're going to color in the Magical Delight by Klara Markova, and I have colored a little bit in this book already. I showed that a minute ago. We'll go back to here. So here's some of the stuff that I've colored in this book previously. So I think we're going to go ahead and color this page, this little mouse. And I'll stay kind of zoomed out for a little bit while I kind of get the base colors on here, and then when I go to shade, I'll probably zoom in. So now I have to decide, do I want to use my Neo colors, which I'm thinking I want to use my Neo color, water soluble crayons, and then shade with pencil. That's what I'm thinking. So yeah. And you can use anything as a base, watered down acrylic. And these pages are pretty thick, but you always want to test. I always say that. You always want to test your pages to see what mediums work and what might not work for you. Because when you use anything with water and a water brush, which, yeah, I got water in here, you have to be careful with how much water you put on, because you don't want to pill your paper and you don't want to go through the paper. So you just have to be careful when you do water. But I've even used water on the thinnest books, like Bennett Klein's are probably the thinnest ones that I know of, and I use water on those. Granted, those thin pages will buckle a little bit, but at the same time, you know, I don't mind that. These pages are thicker, and I probably won't have that issue. So anyway, I think we might do that. I'll use my, let me bring my tray over here so you can see what I'm talking about when I say my Neocolor 2. These are Neocolor 2 water soluble. You have to get the Neocolor 2. The Neocolor 1 crayons are just wax-based crayons. They're not water-soluble. So you make sure you get the water-soluble Neocolor 2. And I've had this set for probably at least 5 years. And you have to get them on sale, watch for prices, and, you know, Dick Blick. I think that's where I got this set about 5 years ago for my birthday. And so they last, look, you can barely tell I've used them. You know, they just last forever. And what it is, it's concentrated watercolor in a crayon form. And so yeah, so I'm going to set this over here next to me and pick some colors.